on September 1st. I'm like a little kid who says I'm 2.5. Did you know that over 50, some people encourage people to take off a year for each year over 50? So at 51, we're 49. At 82 and a half, we're 17 and a half. I don't know if it works for half a year. And there's some truth in this game. How to describe, maybe many people say, at a certain point, you can be an adult child. I had to learn, I just had 8-hour sinus cancer surgery through my nose into my head. And the following morning, Nurse Karen said, as I lay in bed, "Okay, try to get up now." I tried and I was dizzy. I fell down to the bed and she said, "Well, try again." And I tried again, and the room whirls. And I was so blessed. Thank you, Nurse Karen, for catching me. Or I wouldn't be here, I don't think, standing before you. I'm going to show us some more exercises from interplay, which is a discipline around the United States at least that encourages us to learn how to play through our days. Tonight on Cambridge Common, 7:30, opposite the Sheridan Commander, we're going to be doing interplay on the green grass, probably maybe a little wet green grass. And we'll play together. So the goal is to play through our nights and days. So I have the book by the two founders of the Great Name Move, What the Body Wants. Geez, what does our body want? Unfortunately, at 82 and a half, although I had a nap this afternoon, I think my body wants to nap again. It might be interesting to nap, which I did recovering from surgery, almost as much as I want, although fortunately physical therapy kept interrupting me and occupational therapy. I was at Spalding Rehab, which is in Charlestown, which was like I died and went to paradise. I told them I thought it was the best paid for vacation I've ever had, best vacation I've ever had. But since I'm discovering Medicare wants to charge me $1,600 for a hospital stay, and alas, maybe for ambulances, it was still worth it. Well, even though I'd love to nap, there's an old expression, Spanish, how beautiful it is to do nothing and rest afterwards. And I love napping or lie in bed in the morning. I seem to feel the peace that passeth understanding and feel blessed doing nothing. Maybe I could get out of my habit of trying to do something because I was afraid I didn't want to do anything. So maybe the blessing, the bliss of doing nothing, maybe if I slow down, even if we're on TV, feel it's a little nap, just a little, feeling my feet on the floor. Oh, that feels way better. As my friend Neil Cage said, slow down, take a deep breath, and go at half speed. Wow, does this feel better? I think I might even like it instead of napping. Slow down by taking a deep breath. Exhale with a sigh and go at half speed. It might make for way less interesting television, but that alone was worth the price of the show. So, here are some exercises. This is by the two founders of Interplay. Imagine founding a way of interacting that could spread through the United States and keep on spreading. Cynthia Winton Henry, she's the main person, with Phil Porter. So, boy, it says it includes access to the music like breathing. I might try that. These are some of the exercises, and we do this at Interplay usually the second and fourth Wednesday of every month. And when it gets colder, we'll be in the basement of the Congregational Church at 11 Garden Street, in the kids' room, appropriately. Okay, here's one exercise. Let one arm float or fly like a kite. And as soon as I do them, I hope you're doing them too. No watching. No Coach Potato-itis. Please do these. They'll be well worth it. So let one arm float like a kite. As soon as I do this, it feels, I do not know why, so comforting. It's very different, which it also feels nice to just move the way I feel to. But somehow, maybe you'll explain it, letting one arm or the other one, wow. I hope it feels as good to you as it does to me. It feels a little like we're astronauts floating. Let go of what it looks and feels like, and let the drift wait and feel. Let go of what it feels like and feel the drift. Wait. Dance. And flow. I guess we could always do that, and maybe these instructions help us, maybe even moving spontaneously now. Feel the drift, wait, I'm missing one of them, dance and flow, feel the drift. We could do this with walking too. Just spontaneously feel the drift, wait, dance, and flow. That's enough to make our life better, and we're just beginning the show. Or stand and let your let your head tilt all the way back. Oh my. Feels a little dizzying to this 82-and-a-half-year-old. Imagine that you're standing in a redwood grove looking up to the sky. You can see the sky here just a little bit over a building. We're on the first floor. Oh, imagine taking that sky in. You know, everything really is infinite, all perceptions. William Blake, the great poet, illustrator, said if we can cleanse our perceptions, we can discover everything, even me, is unending. We don't need to believe in the resurrection, although we can. It's too beautiful not to be true. But we can experience it now. Feel that you're unending. And me too. Relax. We're in the redwood grove still. And let your weight drift around on the balls of your feet. Oh, I do hope you're doing this. This is not enough to listen. Drift around. It all feels too lovely. Imagine wherever you go, you feel how lovely it is to have a body and mind and spirit. See, I can say this having had a stroke also after my surgery. And learning to walk as an 82-year-old. Walk again like an 82-year-old baby. So this could contribute to just feeling how blessed we are to have a body, let alone the mind, a spirit, nothing ephemeral about the spirit, just the energy, scientists might say. The energy field around us. And of course we can have spirit if we have life. Hi! Hi, spirit. From here, it is fun to pretend like you're drunk for a minute. Okay, whoa. I've never been drunk. Hi, but not drunk. Should get drunk. Bill Wilson, who founded AA, a great gift to the world, on his deathbed, asked for a drink. They wouldn't give it to him. And we're good enough to include that in the documentary Bill W. When you're that old, I have a doctor, my great Dr. B, says his father, who's 98, wanted to eat food that might not be so good for him. Well, at 98, my mother in assisted living when the food was free. Oh, did she pig out. It was very good food. So we could pretend we're drunk. Oh, it was very free. Oh my. You too, I hope. Oh, because this energy could be put into, this is hard though, can you feel the drunk energy be with you as you're talking naturally? Wouldn't it be nice to have a slight freedom of a drunk. Even saying hi, good morning to a friend. Let your weight fall wherever it wants. What do you notice? Well, so now we're moving spontaneously. It could be because I'm doing what Cynthia Winton Henry and Phil Porter say. I'm not just spontaneously moving alone. I have two friends I don't know guiding me, although Cynthia Winton Henry said I could use her book on television. It's a great gift. Well, oh, the weight is moving me. Oh, what a gift. Oh, I do hope you're feeling this. Oh, weight is delicious. It's like the, I think it's called the boson field that gives weight to everything in the universe, a field of energies, giving everything mass. I don't really understand too well. Okay, here's the next exercise. Thanks for joining me. Maybe you're joining me too, and we're dancing. Oh, just imagining that. Thanks to Sarah Brett, who watches these. So you could be with me, Sarah, even though you're going to see this later and put it on YouTube. This is play. Dancing for home. Reflection. Remember, don't take this too seriously. I seem to be loving it maybe too much. Start with one arm or your whole body. Play with swinging. Very nice. Play with, you don't see my feet, but there's swinging. Play with swinging. Thrusting. 82-year-old thrust. Oh, not very much. Oh, when I was younger, more thrust. I worked with, I was the white council of black workers at a camp, and I had one of them, Mark Edwards, teach me how to box. I was never good at it, but I wanted to learn. Thrusting. Shaping. Shape. Supposed to be, don't take it too seriously. Shaping. And hanging. Oh. I'm going to be doing this again later tonight. Cambridge Commons, 7:30. We're doing the 5th Wednesday for just this month. Let yourself move and go where you're drawn. Okay? Hi there. Next. Journal, noticing my patterns. Playing with these variations. What gives you energy and what tends to use you up? I have more energy now with you. Maybe if I was on television 24/7, I'd have more energy. Feeling Sarah Brett might be watching this. Although that's not entirely honest. Somehow the possibility I might be with someone, which in some ways is what religions say. God is watching you. The Koran, God is more close than the aorta in you. I was just realizing my beloved parents, Evelyn Korn, Charles Korn, What a life. Remember my father holding my mother's hand after and says, honey, we wasted 40 years of our life fighting. It's very touching. Might be worth it just for that moment. Are there any patterns you resist or that confuse you? I have trouble at this age with a pattern, not now, but there are some times, even just before the show, talking to the wonderful worker here. He's in charge of much of what we do, Josh Hartman. But it was hard moving from being alone in my room, although I have a roommate for a while, and switching to talking to someone. But now, alone in this room, I don't feel that heaviness. It's hard to describe, where talking or maybe even moving is an effort rather than a flow. I'm so used to trying because my default position was depression covering violence. It's amazing I'm here. It's been quite a journey to discover those things. I've had a therapist for 18 years. Dr. Deborah Block, what a gift, helping me unblock. I remember at the very beginning being very surprised after about our 6th meeting, being in terror and discovering I was saying to this somewhat of a stranger, a friend of a friend, please don't leave me. Promise me you won't leave me. And she did promise. And has stayed for 18 years. Asked me this week, well, we can meet again if you still want to. Both agreed I don't maybe need her anymore. Wow. She didn't let me tell her this joke that Woody Allen, after 20 years, his therapist said, Woody, you can finally go. You've learned to accept yourself. And Woody said, yeah, that's great. I just have one question. Doc, and Woody's going out the door, why can't I be someone else? Well, I don't feel that. I am glad to be talking to you and to have taken the trip from murderous impulses, mass depression, to finally, with the help of exercises like this, and my dear dance teacher, Patrick Crowley, I'm finishing a book, sending it to a publisher, or really proofing the publisher, Heal Soul, Heelsoul, 366 ways to dance through our days. And now I, tired often, hard to move, feel, even lying in bed, peace that pathos understanding, and the possibility to feel this peace, I can't do it yet, while moving. Because there's such a habit to leave myself and be responsive to you. And as my dear dance teacher Patrick Crowley said, if you're not yourself, you've got nothing to give to someone else, or even you can't even receive from them. Boy, did that take a long time to really learn. I can learn it in my mind, but to really learn. I think when we die, we'll take what we really have learned into our next life. You have to learn it in your bones and marrow. I had a dear friend, not perhaps a friend anymore, he's now Dr. Joel Keenan in New Hampshire. And we used to be roommates, and I loved Joel. Joel was joy, great sense of humor. And Joel said, there are two things I can't stand about you, Michael. Maybe one thing. You're always learning something new every day. Well, now I have a dear friend, Michael Mack, who asked me on the phone, what did you learn today? I had so much to learn. I mean, if you're bunched up with mass depression and murderous impulses, and no one tells you. Think you're just trying to be like everybody else. And no one tells you that's what's going on. And it's hard to tell anyone else, you'll scare them away. I even told a dear friend, after holding her hand for 4 hours at watching Hamlet, Kenneth Branagh, told her that was hard for me. And she was hurt. It's very hard to learn how to say what's going on in a way that works, that doesn't scare someone away. I've had friends when I wrote them that I feel suicidal, which I've done for years, felt it, and had to learn, well, something in me needs to die so something can live. If I feel my father's axe, he was a fireman, chopping off my head in my mind, night after night, I can ask myself, well, neck, axe, what do you want? And they can both sing almost. Get out of your head and into your heart. I wrote a poem, a little one. To get out of our mind, get into our head, into our head, into our head. To get out of our mind, get into our head. That's how we get ahead. You know, to feel we've got a head, not just a mind. Boy, did that take time. But it was worth the trip. I'm like Woody Allen, I'm proud of this trip and love it. And feel compassion for poor Mikey, who was force-fed when he was 1 in his first day of life. They hold his arms out and they only fed him at the end of every 4 hours, according to Dr. Watson, leading psychologist at the time, who had 2 children who killed themselves. But supposedly they wanted to be good parents, fed me only at the end of every 4 hours. I refused at 1 day old. Wow! As my father said when he told me at 50, I think this is what made you so stubborn. Refused. What was going on with a 1 day old? Somehow, I don't have a good answer to this, he knew that it wasn't right to eat this way when they decided, not me. Okay, now we can feed you. It's the end of 4 hours. Ugh. And maybe at 1 day old, it's not even 1 day, or certainly home from the hospital, I didn't like it. That structure, that ignoring of mine. And they force-fed me. My father held me down. My mother poured formula milk down my throat. I didn't want it. Boy, did that mess up eating. Having to eat stuff you don't want. Like the prisoners in Guantanamo who just wanted to die, and the United States wouldn't let them, force-fed them. I think maybe that stopped, I hope. Well, that force feeding eventually moved me to love Jesus, who was like this, a Jewish boy, tacked up. So thank you, Mom and Dad, Dr. Watson. Serve God with the evil impulse, leading me to Jesus. First day at home. With the hope, the promise, like spring, we get off the cross. We're born again, and again, and again, and again, and again. What a gift that has been. We won't go into Abraham and Isaac too, the beginning of Judaism. When Isaac also tied up on an altar, and Abe has the knife over him. And Isaac, who Abe did not think was his biological son, since he gave his wife away twice, and she gave him away to the black servant Hagar. So he didn't know if Isaac was his son. He was sure Ishmael was when he was with Hagar. So with all those doubts and anger, he turns it into this 3-day walk, tying Isaac up, promising Isaac God will provide a sacrifice, a ram, my son. Raises the knife above the tied up Isaac. I identify this too in my first day at home. And in that moment, Isaac owes his life to Abraham. And they connect as father and son. And Abraham knows, I'm giving life to my child, Isaac. And they connect in that very difficult way. Isaac never sees Abraham again when Abraham's alive, but does come with Ishmael, the father of Arabs, and Isaac, the father of Jews and Christians. And together they bury Abraham. What a hope for harmony between the children of Abraham, Muslims, Christians, and Jews. And I'm there with them. I am grateful very to Charles Korn and Evelyn Korn for bringing me to the heart of Judaism and the heart of Christianity, and open to both, and therefore open to more religions. We'll save that for another show, but Abraham is, of course, the father of Muslims, of Ishmael. Journal, which I've been doing with you, noticing my patterns, playing with these variations, what gives you energy and what tends to use you up. I think any trying, which is hard, because although this time when I was trying a little too hard, I was silent, and that helps. I don't have to cover up my silence anymore. Feel my feet on the ground, my tush on the chair, the air caressing me, the light feeding me, nourishing me, delighting me. Okay, we're moving along. I hope you're still with me. Becoming a son or daughter of God, Isaac, Ishmael, Jesus. You don't have to go to church necessarily to connect to the energies in the energy field or spirit. Connecting to our parents, difficult parents, grandparents, their parents, and their parents, and their parents. Journal. Collect the healthy body data. Notice your sensation of ease this moment. The body data, the bits and pieces of physical information you experience right now. Ease is always present. Where do you find sensations of relaxation, openness, or energy within yourself right now? Wow. Of all things, within my groin, heart, mind, hands, fingers, breath. Now these are for you too. Please, it's going to affect your final grade. You can get an A+ if you do all these exercises. Where do you find sensations of relaxation, openness, or energy? We did that. Also notice the thoughts and sensations of difficulty. I do think there's a little trying to talk so you'll understand me. Maybe if I talked quieter and slower, it would be uninteresting to you and easier for me. Yes, oh my. So the difficulties are part of my health, and I'll try to remember this even as a teacher. I try to talk quickly to hide from my depression, to hide from my hiding. Journal. Claim what you enjoy. Write down, or we can think them now, activities, people, and places that repeatedly bring joy, peace, or aliveness to your body. Well, there's some people I love now. Judy Babb, who I call the Enlightened One. I think she's about 87 now. Probably still dancing. We're going to see Golda tomorrow night. And more, my friend, my beyond significant other friend. It only took about 12 years to begin to feel blessed by her presence, her silence. Sometimes talking can get in our way, but the silence and praying. Places, I love the park outside my home. If I'm not talking, I'm walking with my friend Neil almost every morning now. I can feel the beauty of the trees and the air. I'd love words to be part of this beauty. Like now, slow, quieter words. Noticing the repeating patterns of enjoyment in things that energize and bring you life. Claim what you enjoy. Oh my. See how many people can put up with slow words. But I'll be radiating joy. Why not? This is your own body of knowledge. If you know what you enjoy, are you getting enough of what you enjoy? I'm not sure I enjoy reading and writing. Again, I do that too fast. Get in as much as I can. These words I read, I'm not sure I enjoy these words. Let's see what's next. Practice, what? See spirit. Wow. Instead of pretending that spirit is invisible, and I can use the word body energies or body, mind, spirit energies. The scientists all believe we radiate energies. Look around you with the idea that spirit is visible in everything. So I'm looking at me now. There's not much more in this room. There are things in this room. There's a clock. I mean, all that we see is waves are coming at us. I mean, even touching, there are waves going through our body. While the chair is inviting. Like the world, not only are all my grand and great-grandparents here with my parents, but the world made us. I mean, the Greeks call the earth a god, Gaia. And the sky, Zeus. And these were energy fields that were alive. And the Jews, Christian, Muslims said, well, there's an even greater energy field. We'll call it Allah or Elohim or Yahweh or Jesus or Christ. And you can join them. We're all sons and daughters of God. Meister Eckhart, it was good enough that I think they excommunicated him after he died. He died before they could finish. Said along with an early saint, I think it's Clement of Alexandria, and maybe Thomas Aquinas, God became human so humans could be gods. I'll say it slowly. God became human. So humans, that's us, can become gods. Feel our unending. Wow. And so the word Elohim is a plural in Hebrew. It's translated God. Very beginning of Genesis. In the beginning, Elohim created heaven and earth. But Elohim is also a plural word, meaning gods or judges. When Moses was on Mount Sinai, he heard Yahweh say, let there be no other Elohim or gods before me. So if Elohim is one of the basic names of the creative energy. It can also be a plural. Like the United States was once a plural. The United States are. But we got so used to it being one country that we eventually said the United States is. Elohim, we could have once said are. And now that community of divinities. And Abraham had so many names. Elohim, Yahweh, El Shaddai, which means the power of my female breast. All of these are in Genesis. El Olam, God of the world, and more. So it could be that the unity of divinity, Elohim, is a community. I mean, the Muslims have the angel Gabriel speak for Allah. So there's a community there too. And eventually Allah might agree to have really a community of friends, like jazz music, where no one is in control, but the music itself moves each of us at our own time to contribute. True democracy, democracy of divinity. So, everything has a spirit. Not hard to see, but the sky that we see is really an energy from the sky. It is the spirit of sky. Maybe if we listen, we can hear it speak to us. As Abraham did. Wounded as a young man, he heard, "Go, go, you go to the land I will show you." Could be trees speak, earth speaks, bodies speak. Spirit is visual in everything. Those few words can change the world. I have a friend, wonderful mechanic, listens to toilets to know how to fix them, listens to drains. Hears what they say, maybe not in words, Gene Mason, and fixes them. This does not take away from the mysterious source or nature of spirit. Well, this is written so well. It's not reducing spirit just to this energy field. It's part of something way, even the universe, some creative energies, powers give them more personality. Created this universe out of a pin, size of a pin, Big Bang. Might be many more. We've grown so much in 100 years. You've eventually learned with Galileo the sun does not go around the earth, and now we know 1,800 suns are born every second in our cosmos, and who knows what's going on if there are others. Might very well be a multiverse, just like divinity could be multi-sons and daughters of God. What changes if we acknowledge that human spirit and Holy Spirit are in view? Could I feel my spirit? Can you feel yours? And if you're a scientist, you can just call it an energy field. but it might have that, it does have that mysterious quality. Where is it from? Where's it going? We can have faith like Martin Luther King. We shall overcome. The moral arc of history is long, but it bends toward justice with all the help of God, Goddess. In the Hebrew Bible, Goddess is called Sophia. She was with Yahweh in the creation of the universe. This is in the Hebrew scriptures and Proverbs. I believe Proverbs 8. So there's a whole community, and Catholics know this, communion of the saints, including that wonderful day, November 1st, celebrates the saints that don't have a day of their own yet. So there's a big community of sons and daughters of God that together can help guide us, comfort us. Well, we still have 5 more minutes. Thank you for staying with me. It's been very helpful. Journal leaping speed bumps. Remember something you once feared that you now do well. I do finally love talking with people, especially if I can speak half speed, be quiet. I love my roommate because there's so much quiet, so much primal energy coming through him, maybe me too. Maybe he's taught me that. What a gift. Has your success in dealing with this experience tempered your memory of the fear? I think so. Just talking slow, not hiding when I have nothing to say, loving the silence, the feel of the ground, earth under my feet. It feels even humorous that there's something rather than nothing, especially after 8 hours of surgery and possible death. Wow, there's something rather than nothing. Dante the poet said that in heaven, I hope we're there, there's an inaudible laughter that pervades everything. Because it's funny. Every moment we're a jack in the box, something new. Let's notice it's always the opposite of Ecclesiastes. There's nothing new under the sun. Everything, including the sun, is new. Every moment. As Anthony Donahoe, who died last Labor Day, said, the reason they call it a moment is that it's momentous. Thank you, dear Anthony. So maybe we're learning to be less afraid. Could you imagine approaching a new challenge as more of a speed bump than a wall? I think I can now. I wish same to you. For me, silence. Deep breaths, maybe 3. With a sigh. Yes, much easier. Could you practice an easy shrug and saying, I can do that, instead of, oh no. Boy, because I scheduled to interplay after this. That might be hard. After reflecting on these questions, shake all this fear stuff out of your body and take a deep breath. Ooh, well, a little spacey now. Wow. Less fear to all of us. And I can go at slow speed, so I won't be afraid of falling as much, I hope. Well, we have 1 more minute. I hope we've learned a lot. There might be an interplay near you, wherever you are in our wonderful, though challenged country. Much play to and through you and all of us. Much play to and through you and all of us. Much play to and through you